The names of more than 500,000 voters in the state of Georgia have been purged from the state's voter registration rolls. Dr. Charles Steele, Jr., President and CEO of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, joined with other civil rights leaders to stand in solidarity with internationally known investigative journalist Greg Palast in his legal action against Georgia's Secretary of State and gubernatorial candidate Brian Kemp. A legal action brought forward over the removal of these thousands of names from the state's voter rolls.
And because of that matter, being a native Alabamian, this particular issue really motivates me to stand up in terms of the wrongfulness of these type of acts, because many of people have died and paid the supreme sacrifice for people to have the rights to vote. And in terms of what is taking place here in Georgia is an insult to all of the efforts and accomplishments that we have done throughout this country as people have been disenfranchised, particularly African Americans at the time, Negroes, because I have the historicity, I might have said, in terms of being one of the first black city councilmen in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I was the first black state senator from Tuscaloosa since Reconstruction. And to have people to have this type of indignation of disrespecting the efforts that people have paid the supreme sacrifice to bring about the inclusiveness of people who have been disenfranchised and actually been brought to this country as slaves to have the right to vote, is that Georgia is a state that needs to stand up and let people know in terms of its morality that we're not going to take it anymore. But for the leadership within this state not to say anything, not just one individual who's running for governor to say anything, but those who are fair-mindedness and fair will in terms of the inclusion should make a statement.
During a joint news conference held in the international headquarters of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Palast highlighted the efforts of Mr. Kemp's state office to use unreliable statistics as a means of purging thousands of Georgian names from voter rolls.
Now, what Mr. Kemp does not know, he tried to deny me the cross-check list, but someone in his office gave it to me anyway. The 500,000 Georgians designated by Chris Kobach supposedly as having moved from the state of Georgia. These are the people on the list. And here's a sample of the Georgia-Virginia cross-check list. This is it. This is what Chris Kobach gave Brian Kemp. This is what is the basis for removing thousands and thousands of Georgians from the voter rolls.
This man has done a great job, and we appreciate you. I want you to know that, coming from SCLC as president. Number two, and sometimes we just skate over, miss over, intentionally or not intentionally. 2013, the U.S. Supreme Court rescinded Section 4 and Section 5 of the 1965 Voter Rights Act. That's number one. When that happened, there are many people, like what's going on with the leadership with Mr. Kemp and others throughout this country, think they have legal rights and legal participation to eradicate and remove people of ethnicity that they don't want to be a part of the process. This in its own right, and we're missing a lot of the problems, but he has the facts. But the problem is this country has gone back 50 years in terms of racism. And many people don't want to talk about it. They're afraid to talk about it. We have the facts. It's an attack upon those of color, and it's attacked upon poor people. They don't want poor people to be a part of the process. Dr. King said this country is too rich to have any poverty within it. And he also said the government is the enemy. This is a clear example of what the government is doing. It is not friendly to people of color and to poor folks.
Above all, Dr. Steele encourages everyone to vote. Know your registration status always, and exercise your right to make a difference. Please vote in this upcoming election.